Episode 124. Myself, producer Dante, and we're joined by Pro 105 strongman Bill Kendall. Um, Dude, I'm super glad you got to jump in. We didn't have a guest really for this week, and we kind of waited for the last minute, and so been meaning to have you on for a long time. We met you, I think, about a year ago, and yeah, just welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a plethora of things today, but main thing is judging in strongman. So obviously, World's Strongest Man is come and gone. Congratulations to Mitch Hooper. Well, you guys will see it on TV in August or whenever they do it, but congratulations to Mitch Hooper for winning. Um, and I think the big takeaway, other than like the competitors and stuff, was the judging, right? And it
hmm
feels like almost every couple weeks now, obviously, World's Strongest Man is kind of the pinnacle, so it's going to be highlighted more than anything, but is judging in strongman, right? Um, so I kind of want to just touch on that. And I think it's something that's going to get a lot of feedback from listeners and just people in the sport. It's something they want to talk about is judging standards. So the circus dumbbell, you guys saw it at World's Strongest Man, right? It
Yes.
went crazy. There was obviously some pretty bad angles that we saw. Um, this happened also at the Arnold, right? With the pros. There were some we were all competing, actually, all three of us in the
hmm
amateur, but um I think there was a decent amount of chatter around some judging. Oh, the deadlift for the women was the big one, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So all these big shows judging's coming up, and obviously we've all seen it at the local level too, right? I mean, local level, I hate to be like it's gonna happen, but it's almost more like minor league baseball, little league baseball when you're paying kids like 10 or 15 bucks and like a game to ump behind the plate, you know?
hmm
And it's like not to downplay amateur strongman like at that level, but when it gets to this higher level, it starts to get concerning, right? And I think one big misconception, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, is just because someone was a really great strongman or is a really great strongman, currently in the past, whatever, they're a good judge. And I think we're starting to see that the two don't correlate with one another. And we're seeing some really bad calls. And I'd like to just dive in and kind of see like how, how we can fix it. Cause I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, strongman judging sucks, right? And like, well, what do we do about it? And I have some thoughts on what we can do about it and kind of want to get a pro strongman's opinion on it. So, um, I will preface by saying if you've never been a head judge at a show, it is extremely overwhelming. It's extremely nerve-wracking. It's extremely hard. I remember the last show that we did, Frawley literally, like, we did the awards and Frawley was our head judge for our show at our winter show. And he came up to me, he's like, dude, judging is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, I remember telling, and he said he found a new respect for judges. And I tell people that I'm like, once you've judged a show, you'll never yell at a judge again because it's such a hard job to do. And they're nine times out of 10, they're a volunteer. Um, have you ever judged a show, Bill?
I have not yet, but I definitely understand. If you got like 50 competitors at a show that you're judging, and they all have 5 events, and all 5 events are super important to every one of them,
Yes.
right? But you do it, 250 times, let's say, if you're
Right.
judging every event.
Yeah. It's That's a really good point. And Bill might have froze again, Dante, but we'll wait for him to catch up. But it's it's something like I remember for Battle of the Bridge, um, I was just kind of like I assigned head judges, you know, and and then I'm like, we start talking, I'm like, oh crap, like we need a lot of training for this. You know what I mean? It's not like something where it's like just because someone does strongman, they're going to be able to just be a good judge.
hmm
So before you froze, what like you made a really good point. and it means so much to everyone, right? Every
Right.
competitor, which it should. Everyone cares, from the novice to the really good open guys that have been doing it for a long time. But that judge 250 calls throughout the day, right? Sometimes more. Like I've
Yeah.
been a head judge at a show where these like every single person, because it was a really light deadlift on the weight matrix, is getting 15 plus reps, even novices, not great deadlifters. So it's like you multiply that by 50, 60 competitors. I'm making like 500 plus down calls. Yeah, I'm gonna miss a couple. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a really really good point from you, and it's just what do we do about it, right? And actually up there, so you're from Detroit, right? Like outside
Yeah. Right
Detroit.
outside Detroit.
Yeah. And Brian Benet, who is the Strongman Corp state chair, and he's a regional chair as well. If you've been to any big Strongman Corp show, the Arnold National, stuff like that, he's probably been your head judge. I actually um, saw that he takes a CrossFit judging class, like so CrossFit for the Open, they require, it's like $10 to get certified to become a judge. And he said he takes it every year to keep his mind sharp on judging, learn stuff, and just kind of be a refresher. And I thought that was really, really cool that he did that. And what I thought from that when this topic came up is, what if the federations, USS, Strongman Corp, were held a little bit more, OSG, were held a little bit more accountable with their judges, as we're seeing worse and worse calls, and they have like a train the trainer or a trainee course that you go through to be a head judge. And it's like, the meet director, I understand it would be a little bit more on the meet director. I don't want to say too much, but it'd be a big responsibility. But it's like $10, right? And it's a little online course. And you go through, and it's just like, it adds a little bit of validity to being a head judge at a show.
Agreed.
You know, do you guys think that's like a feasible thing to happen? I mean, I think it'd be a lot of work. I don't know how you would make it happen, but I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing and kind of thinking.
I think it would
Yeah.
be
I mean,
nice.
I don't think asking judges to take an hour long course is too big of an ask at all.
Yeah, right. And it's
And
like, yeah, it makes them, I think it's enough buy-in that it makes them give a shit, right? So it's like, hey, I'm gonna be at this show. I had to go through and pass this 10 question and watch an hour video. I think it'd be really cool. I'd be all for putting that video together because I do like safety training for a living. So I
yeah,
would love to like develop that training. But I think it'd be cool because you might have been frozen when I said this, but when I first started promoting shows, I was like, okay, this person's good, does strongman, this person does strongman, this person does strongman. They're going to be my head judges. And I very, very, very quickly learned that doesn't necessarily carry over to being a good judge. And it's
sure.
it's not it's nothing on that person, right? But it's just I don't know. You just really have to be dialed in and bought in, and it's like you fantasize over your own iron podiums, whether you're a competitor or a director, and it's like hard to get other people to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you guys? I know I'm really throwing you on the spot, but do you guys have any like anything that you would think could be developed or implemented to make head judges, I guess, just be better? And not even just you two, but like the listeners. Like I'd be really curious because some of our best podcast episodes, almost all of them, have been like when there's been like a controversy or a hot topic in strongman. And I just saw it, everyone posting about it with World's Strongest Man. Is like the big one was Evan Singleton, a circus dumbbell from like a kind of like a side back angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Didn't look good.
yeah, it's a really bad look. And I've probably used this analogy a handful of times on the pod, but I don't put as much blame on the athlete at all,
Mm-mm.
because it's like that. I don't know, Bill, you play baseball growing up.
Yeah.
So it's like baseball, like you're in high school, right? Big game, and you're up to bat, full count, bases loaded. Guy throws a piss missile right down the middle, and you don't swing. But the umpire calls ball four. Game's over and you win. Like you're not going to be like that old Dare commercial, like, sir, I touched it, I touched it. You're going to be like you're going to walk to first base and your team's going to win.
Yeah.
So I put a lot more uh I put a lot more of the blame on the judging. I really do. And like Josh Lancaster had a really good post. If you know who he is, he's an 80 kilo, kind of 90 when he wants to be, from Britain. And he's a big coach. And he said it the other way. He's like, do athletes need to be held more accountable and lift to standards? It's a good point, but it's like we're doing a sport where whether it's max reps or a max weight or a medley, you're going to be moving maximum effort. So it's easy to say it when it's a 70% dumbbell, like, yeah, I'm pressing it, I'm holding it perfectly locked out. But when you're pressing a PR dumbbell, are you gonna be able to like leave that doubt? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well,
I
it's like when Magnus was at the what was it, the Rogue Invitational. His controversial with the dumbbell with Martins too. And then
yeah,
now with the world's strongest man with that dumbbell, it's like
Also
no consistency with it.
at OSG, when we went and spectated, the lane that he judged,
not
not
good.
not good.
Yeah, so
Multiple reps that shouldn't have been given. Dimitar Savatinov actually on the last dumbbell got a down command, but wasn't even looking and like knew that he didn't have a clean rep, and he did it again and got a second down command. And they
wow.
like let him do it because he was like, "Oh, he didn't see me give him the down."
Yeah,
Like he
that's
knew, like when the competitor knows, and he didn't even think that there was a chance that he got a down
Hmm.
call.
yeah. Yeah, but it's turning out to be Magnus isn't a very good judge. And like
Yeah,
it's I you can like someone as a person and respect them, as a competitor and everything, and just but still on the other hand say, hey, maybe not a great judge, needs
yeah.
to be trained more, whatever it is.
At least for circus dumbbell.
Yeah.
Maybe he's all right in the other events, but
I mean, this is like we just rattled off three very quick examples.
yeah.
It's like, I mean, Dante, do you want to talk about what's his name from World's Strongest Man this past weekend, that there was the call that they
The Pavlo thing.
yeah.
Did you hear
Oh
about
yeah,
that, Bill, with Pavlo? He didn't like he like
the
missed
shield
like the
carry.
20 meter mark by like 0.2 meters or something. So they got rid
Yeah.
of an entire length. And that took him
Yeah,
down from like first place to sixth place or something like that.
yeah. But I mean, I saw the rules were posted by someone, and it said you have to touch the line, and so I mean, if you don't touch the line,
Yeah.
but are
So
they
that
going to
was
count
what
half of it? Like it doesn't.
yeah. That's what I was gonna ask is, so if it was a roll, I'm perfectly fine with wiping out that carry, like 100%. If they're just making up shit on the fly, it's like that sucks. But if it was a posted rule, I have no problem with that at all. Because it's
Yeah, I
like,
think Chad Coy posted it in some Facebook group I'm on.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that actual rule thing, but I just know there was some controversy. I think a few people got hit with that kind of thing. I'm not sure though, but
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mitch Hooper and Evan Singleton are getting down calls on
yeah,
pretty questionable dumbbells.
yeah. And yeah, like I said, it's not a good look for the sport. And I wish there was an easy answer. I think it's just, I don't know. You just these huge comps just have to pay more attention to judging. And it's funny because World's Strongest Man can easily, it'll never be on the spotlight to people that aren't us, because we
mhm.
care about strongman. We're the ones watching the crappy live streams, whatever. But like they edit for TV, so
Right.
like what they'll do is like a bad call, just it'll never see the light of day. Like
Yeah.
you'll see like if they got 7 reps, you'll see rep 4, rep 5. Oh, rep 6 was bad. It'll pan away to the other guy. Then they'll
Mhm.
show rep 7, and it'll just never
We'll
see the
find a
light of
perfect
day.
angle, maybe.
Yeah. So it's
I
yeah,
just think at that high level of competitions, like the judging should be just be so standardized, just all the way around, especially if they're the same judges for different shows. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Instead of
yeah.
local shows, I mean, you got like you can have like three people at your gym and you can have a meeting and just be like, this is what I want to look for.
Yep. Well, that's
But
so what we did is for our last show, and Dante, you were there when we did
yeah,
this because you were running the live stream. But the night before, I we ran 2 lanes, so we only had 2 head judges. And this is like not me trying to be on my like a high horse because it's a local show and I'm sure it's a lot different than World's Strongest Man or OSG, and not the attention to detail that those guys have to do. But we had a meeting. I met empty gym, myself, Dante was there because he's running the live stream, and then our head judges. And that was it. That open gym. We had all the implements, and I went through and we literally had a cheat sheet for both judges. This is exactly what we're going to look for in event one. This is exactly what we're going to look for in event two, event, etc. And I thought we did an amazing job, both our judges, Kate Gutwald and Jason Frawley, and like they were strict, but they were completely on the same page the whole time. So is that like we have rules meetings as athletes? Do they have rules meeting? I'd be curious, like how many shows do rules meetings with the judges, like beforehand, not just at 9:15 before, the show starts. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thing. I don't know if you guys have any other feedback with it or what. Like it's hard.
I think at like the higher level shows, I mean, I know World's Strongest Man is more of a TV show, right? So they want people lifting the heaviest weights. So
Mm-hmm.
if they make some questionable down calls, it might be for that reason. But at like OSG, Giants Live, I mean, Clash, anything like that, or PSL now.
Yeah.
I think like a challenge system would be cool. Because presumably everything's being recorded. So if I don't know, if you don't get a rep that you think you should have gotten, like show the video to 3 judges, not the one that did or didn't give you the down command, but like 3 neutral judges, they vote on it, kind of powerlifting style.
Yeah.
here's an
Uh,
example too. I don't mean to interrupt, but like what happened to me at nationals, like the thing broke off in the sandbag, and they really didn't have a plan for that.
Yeah.
Like it's something like judges could have a meeting, like if there's an equipment failure, could we like average certain times or figure a different method besides just like doing it again? I mean, doing it again is a perfectly viable reason, but there could also be an alternative
Yeah.
possibly.
And Bill just said something. I'm so happy he said it because I was gonna bring it up and I forgot to write in my notes because I was running around all day. I'm so happy he just said it. You mentioned like powerlifting. That's the best point on this pod. Okay, look. So a circus dumbbell, look at powerlifting, right? Squat, bench, and deadlift. They have 3 judges, one from each side and one from the front, right? For strongman, we have one judge. And you're expecting, so this is where I do have the judges back, is you're putting a lot of pressure on one individual versus potentially 2 or 3 that you could use for a max lift like circus. Why can't we have 2 or 3 judges? I think that is a really, really, really good idea that I was thinking about today when I was thinking about this episode, because I'm I'm standing in front of you, right, Bill, and you're doing a max effort circus. I'm not going to see your sides. I'm not going to see your back. You're expecting me to see a 360 perfect lift all at once perfectly, only from one angle. So I'm curious what people think about that. Add multiple judges for like,
yeah,
especially for like a max. Make sure it's done to the standard. We
yeah,
have this big five. What's the new deadlift that everyone's going for? 505. Why not have 3 judges for that? Powerlifting has 3 judges for a max deadlift. For Thor's and Eddie's, to my knowledge, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but um, they have one head judge, right? For
Hmm.
Eddie's. So
yeah,
how do you see if it's soft knees from the front? How do you see if it's cool? Like if I'm standing at the side and I'm not all the way locked out with a suit on or whatever, you might not see it from the front. It may
yeah,
appear how someone's built that it's locked out and it's just not.
And usually, I know when I'm watching people, I'm like really just focusing on like one part at a time. So it's like you might be focusing on the lockout on the top, like the shoulders back, not like someone's knees, like you said. So,
Right.
so like extra judges could indeed, I think it could pay off.
Yeah, you're expecting someone to be looking at an entire person in a split second, and it's only one person. I mean, I think that is like a really, really, really good point and good idea for judging because You gotta now. How do you do it? I don't know, but I'm bringing the idea to the table and curious what other people think in regards to
Yeah.
it. So I'm really, really glad you said that.
I think it'd be pretty doable on a max lift, but like the circus dumbbell ladder at OSG last year, I think having three judges for that would be pretty tough and weird with all them walking in unison.
Yeah. It'd be almost impossible. I'm thinking this would be like strictly almost for like maxes, maybe like reps where there's not like multiple bars or have a second judge and just being having a second judge. So say Dante's deadlifting and I'm the head judge, Bill, and you're the side judge slash like volunteer, and you can communicate to me directly if this person isn't locking out their rep so I can wait an extra split second. Like you can give me a nod, hey, lock out because you're at that side and I'm at the front.
Sure.
Something like that. Um, and I do say this with like I understand these are like lofty goals that may cripple like a local show to the point where like, you know, you can't have 16 judges at a local show, especially if you want them to be like qualified, but it's just ideas, you know, and I
It's
don't
the only
know.
way, it's like the only way the sport's going to grow is with ideas like this too. It's like
Yeah.
you can't just keep it stagnant. You got to throw some change and challenge into it. And if we want to keep seeing it get better,
Yeah. Well,
I'm
it's
pretty
funny.
sure they had three judges at the Arnold Pro,
Oh,
at least for
really?
the deadlift. Yeah, because I saw
Oh,
like people throwing up flags when I got to go over there for a little bit on the
hmm.
sides. So
That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's a good
yeah,
point. That's cool.
but no
Um,
one got like red lighted because of it. So
yeah.
I don't know if they were just there for show or what.
They're just there for optics.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just a really, really interesting topic. And um, I think strongman is like for how new strongman is relative to other sports, like especially the recent like burst of strongman. Other old sports, America's pastime. Look at baseball. Been around for Dante. Look at what year the MLB uh was founded. But the Major League Baseball in 2023 just made a major rule change with the pitch clock and stuff to evolve the game and be better for the viewers and just the game alike. Like, you know, strongman could really use that. They could use stuff
right.
that's going to be better for the viewers. So like I don't really ever buy into like the oh we can't change now because this is how it's always been done. Like if Major League Baseball is changing and the NFL has rule changes with hits and concussions, like we
Yeah.
can change. Are you a Lions fan, Bill?
No, I'm a Bears fan.
Oh, Bears fan, nice.
Yeah.
um, you know, and another thing I was thinking about was we're talking about judging is uh I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. I'll just take the two federations for example. Nationals, right? Strongman Corp and USS Nationals for judging. Strongman Corp does so. What you guys? Perfect example. You guys are in the same class, right? And you're in the same flight. There's what did they do? 4 or 5 uh, lanes at Erie last year.
it was four.
Or
Yeah.
so you guys are going against your competitors in say sandbag over shoulder, but your judges may be completely different, right? They may be looking for different things. One's maybe a little bit more lenient on a down call on a deadlift, on a, you know, the path that the sandbag goes over. USS Nationals, you don't get to compete against your own class at the same time because there's like, I think this year they said 8 lanes, but like I'm in a lightweight and next to me the 105s are going or whatever they have to what 20 and whatever.
Hmm.
But so you don't get to see what your class is doing at the exact time to maybe get pushed a little bit harder, but you get equal judging. So what would Bill as a strongman, what would you prefer?
Hmm. I think it depends maybe like how many people are in the class.
Okay.
Because if you're rocking like a 50, 60 person class and you all got to go through the same judge,
Yeah.
I just don't know if I could deal with it. I mean, like, you don't even have a chance to keep track of what everyone's doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but I don't know. And I also just like going in a heat with people in the same class.
Right. That's kind of my thoughts. Like I like to be pushed. Like think about the farmers at the Arnold. Like you see someone like out of your peripheral, or you know they're like right behind you. You get to the turn at the same time. It's like, how much does that motivate you?
Yeah,
But on the other hand, how many was the other lane getting super quick down calls? Was the lane so it's like I have never done one like a big show where I don't get to go at the same time because I've been primarily strongman corp. I'm doing USS Nationals in a month.
nice.
So I'm excited to see what it's like the other way around. Like I'm really excited. I think I'll have more of an opinion after.
Yeah,
What's your opinion on it, Dante?
Um, I personally, I'd rather take like a strict judge and give other people loose judges. I'd like going against people like if I'm in a farmer's race and I see someone like on the peripherals like catching up, like that would just inspire me to do a little faster rather than just like, going after someone. It's like, oh, I have to beat 13 seconds on this. I'll have to try to push myself a little bit. I don't know. That's just personally my thoughts. And I don't know. Like I'm looking at the USS roster now, and some of these classes have like, you know, 30, maybe 40 people in the class, possibly. And I'm just like thinking you'd have to stay really warm during that wait, especially like if you're towards the
Yeah.
end. So like I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword almost in the same way. But
Yeah, it's
just
like you
me
want
me
it to be
personally, I'd rather just have like 5 or 6 lanes of the same people and just get it done
it's
with.
it's easier, like Bill said, it's easier to keep track of.
Yeah.
Like you can like if you're in the first heat, you can watch every heat after you and it'd be done in 7 minutes. Versus like I'm looking at the roster now too, and there is a class. What class is this?
The men's 220 is
Dude,
huge.
men's 220 has nowhere short of literally, am I wrong? Like 80 people?
Let me look. I'm putting it in the sheets.
Dude,
good.
they have so many. I mean, lightweights have the 181s have 40. Um,
They have 69 people.
dude, 69. Look at the 275s. They got to have at least 62. So
I
I mean,
mean,
it is,
if you're going last in that group, you got at least an hour and a half.
yeah, and it's
When
like,
the first guy in your class goes, you have at least an hour and a half before you're up.
dude, at least, yeah.
Yeah,
And you're probably standing in line, right? Because they put you in that order the whole day or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd rather just have someone have a less strict judge than me and
They have
just go all at once and get
74. Well, I mean, like at that
74.
point too, it's like you as an athlete know the rules. Like you're supposed to get a sandbag to your shoulder and wait for the down command. So like the rules are still pretty much similar. You might just like get like half a second off a down command if that. That's just my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I might be looking into it a little bit too much. I think I'd rather go all at once with my, you know, with my group, and it feels like it has that bigger show feel. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a lot to unravel right there with the judging. I think that's like a really big topic, and I think it could be a topic on this podcast for 4 weeks in a row. And you
I
don't
think
touch
it would be
on.
cool if we can get like some head judges on one time and like get their opinions on things too.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I know how stressful it is. I really do.
Yeah,
Like
because we're just talking from the outside looking in. We don't actually get like the behind the scenes of like the pro big top shows or whatever, you know.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah. You can get Magnus on here and grill him.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that might be in the works one day. We never know.
he reposted our pod before, which was like
Yeah,
super
Yeah.
nice of him. So I don't want to I
Maybe
don't
get
want to
Ralph.
completely talk shit on him, but it would
Get
be
Ralph
really
next
fun to have
too.
him on. Yeah. Um. So let's just. I want people's feedback, comments, everything in the judging, like because I'm sure we're missing a million things, and people will have really good ideas. Let's talk about World's Strongest Man a little bit. Um, they did you guys see that post that went kind of viral? And when I say viral, I mean viral in our own little weird strongman community that said there was over 30,000 spectators at World's Strongest Man.
hmm
No.
I saw that too. Do you see the picture of like the people with like the chairs and like the step stools too?
Yeah. So that was, I guess, the big thing that everyone said was it was cool to be there. I think they found a really winning location in the US in Myrtle Beach because it's a for us like East Coast people, that's like the standard like middle class family vacation spot. I think
Hmm.
like everyone's been on vacation in Myrtle Beach. I know I have like 10 times. Um, and I think it was just a good meetup spot. But yeah, Dante, that was the thing. The pictures went viral in our niche community of people standing on ladders and chairs and on each other's people's shoulders and
Yeah, they said
watching.
the hardware stores were the biggest winners that weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's just I wonder, do you guys think that they just weren't prepared for that many people? Or like, because you would think they would be able to build like, it doesn't need to be like super expensive stadium, right? You could think they could get like those like temporary like aluminum bleachers, right? Like I'm sure a company could come out and set those up and at least set up like a couple thousand seating like around where the people are going to be. Or
Yeah.
did they already do that and that just wasn't enough?
I want to know how many people were there like last year, like in California and like when it was in Florida as a good comparison. Because it seems like I just hear so much chirping about the people now. Just there's so many people and you couldn't see stuff. So I was wondering if, there was that many people on the other shows and just we didn't really hear about it.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't feel like I've ever heard about it like this. And I don't know. Like, was Sacramento crazy? It didn't. Now, also, the other thing is COVID. Like, did that, did that play a part in the last couple of years? And now we're just being reminded everyone's finally like back out and just like full bore. Maybe that's something about it too. But like, you see these shows overseas and you're like man, like,
They sell out like arenas for Giants Live and everything.
yeah. And people did have like, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were like, in Britain, it's a lot smaller and it's like us driving to like Detroit, like to go
Hmm.
across like as far as like the farthest spot away. So it's
Yeah.
like everyone can kind of like get together and like make a weekend of it when it's like Myrtle Beach is, 16 hours from like Texas, and that's only half, so it's just maybe that just because America's so big too, I don't know, but just I see these shows and you see these sold out arenas and it's like it's freaking crazy. And you're like Myrtle, like World's Strongest Man, which is the pinnacle, is on the street in Myrtle Beach and people are standing on ladders, like
Right.
it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's also always weird to me that it's always been weird to me that World's Strongest Man's outside.
It is kind
Like
of weird.
I feel like no one ever like thinks about it because like it's never in like a big convention center or something. And it's probably something with TV as well that
I
I
mean, yeah, I mean, I think people just want to see like people at the beach lifting heavy stuff. It just makes for good TV at that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So would you guys let me ask a kind of random question. Would you rather World's Strongest Man go like it's obviously not on TV and we can't really consume it and it's like in a real capacity because it's not live streamed, which I understand. Um, Would you rather have it like it was last weekend where we all know what happened? We could follow all these spreadsheets very easily. Or would you rather it go back to like a third world country like they used to do it? And it's all kept a secret until like August or, whenever it actually comes out. And you actually, like, we all get to like, people watch like Love is Blind and stuff. And we all get to hang out and wait for that TV episode and hang out and like meet up and go watch it together. Which one would you guys rather have?
I think it would be cool to do it that way, but also like the results would get leaked regardless. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
I think
also like
yeah,
yeah, either that or interest might get lost because there's going to be like Giants Live or the Shaw Classic coming up, and it's those shows are almost equivalent to World's Strongest Man at this point. So it's like interest might get lost at that point. It would be
yeah,
cool. It would be cool. Maybe like not wait till August, but like maybe
yeah.
like a couple weeks later, like they'll release like the heats, like maybe like even 3 to 4 weeks after. I'd be
Yeah,
okay with that.
if they could get it out within like 6 weeks, and like there was a way for it to not be leaked, like you had literally had like contractual obligations, and I think that would be amazing to just watch completely because it's like I love strongman as much as anyone, and I'm not going to prioritize watching these like qualifying heats and even the finals on TV, and that sucks because they put out such a good product. And I used to be such a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was like, they should be able to live stream it, but I completely understand now. Like, I really do get it. They have such a so much monetary value in their TV contract that it's like, I get it. I think Colin Bryce said on the one, he was on a podcast or he was in an interview in some format, and he said to recoup the money to forfeit their TV contract, they would have to charge $2,000 per live stream to recoup how much money they make off the TV deal. So it's like,
Good
dude,
luck.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Like,
That live stream contract, that contract, that must be old contract, wasn't it?
yeah, I think it's, I mean, I'm sure it's like a lease or something where it's like 5, 10 year deal, but like it's been going since we were little and watching it on like, remember when it used to be on like ESPN on Christmas and stuff like
Yeah, we
that?
used
And
to
then
watch it in
now it's
grandma's
on,
house.
yeah, I think it's on CBS now, right? CBS, it
Yeah, that
was
sounds
ESPN,
right.
CBS.
The Arnold's gonna be on CBS tomorrow, I think.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
really?
I got an email from Rogue saying to watch it.
That's
That's
awesome.
sick. That's sick. It's yeah. You know, I another thing I'm curious about is like Dante just said, is the Rogue and Shaw Classic and stuff are as big as, almost as, he didn't say as big, but almost as big as World's Strongest Man now. What do you think about that, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, to like the casual just watches occasional strongman, non-competitor, World's Strongest Man is always going to be the one thing they've probably heard of.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, just the marketability of winning World's Strongest Man is
Yeah.
greater than any other contest you could win. But, other comps are paying more and like hold more prestige, I think, in like competitors' eyes.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, so where I'm at on it is I think World's Strongest Man is and for the foreseeable future will be the pinnacle. And I look at it as the pinnacle. And I think if you would ask athletes what they'd want to win, like in that open, I think they'd be lying if they picked any show over World's Strongest Man. I really, really do. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna pick Rogue. I don't think anyone's gonna pick Shaw Classic yet or anything. I think we're at least 10 years from World's Strongest Man not being the pinnacle. I think and I'm not even saying it has the best athletes because I think there's just so many freaks that pop up. Like, what's Tom Evans?
Hmm.
Like, he got fifth.
The Stoltman killer.
Yeah, like he's a freak. And like there's so many guys like that out there. And what's his name? I'm such a bad strongman podcaster, but Rag, what's his first name?
Matt
yeah,
Rag.
Matthew Rag. Like, dude, he's a stud. Came from OSG this year. Remick, right? Like
Hmm.
all these guys, and it's like that for every class. But I think where World's Strongest Man loses it a little bit, with that, all that being said, I think it's the pinnacle. I really do. Is there is no defined way to get there, and they'll say there is. I think they're full of crap. I don't think there is. I think it's like when you're inviting guys that aren't going to make the finals, but they're TV guys or guys that are just popular. And I've all the respect in the world for those guys. But it's like if Big Z wanted to compete this year, they would have let him compete.
Hmm.
yeah,
They 100% would have taken that spot from Matt Rag and gave
for
it to
sure.
Big Z. And Matt, there's not a strongman comp in the world that Big Z can beat Matt Rag at now. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like that's the stuff that gets. I know like the Robert Ober stuff rubbed people wrong for so long, and he's not really around anymore. But like that stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking shit on anyone. I think that's where World's Strongest Man does lose people because they go for the flag more than they go. And to be honest, I think that's how OSG is sometimes too. Like for us amateurs, and I mean 105s can be pros and stuff like that, but is these international comps instead of going for the best, we hunt for flags sometimes.
Mhm.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm an American, I'm biased. I'm curious what people from other countries say. But eh,
Like what Bill said earlier too about like going for flags. Sometimes it's like if you're outside looking in and you just like you don't know anything else besides World's Strongest Man, basically. So you see like different countries being represented. So like statistically, you're like, oh, this guy must be one of the strongest people from South America, realizing that like there's three people in someone's local gym that could probably beat them.
oh, I 100% get it. That's a great point. 100% get it.
You know,
Because, if they're on CBS or ESPN, there's going to be millions of people that watch. And only a small percentage really care like us, where we're just dorks and we love this sport. Where we're like, oh, Matt Rag's better than Big Z. But like the mom, dad, uncle, sister watching, if there's how many people get invited to World Strongest Man? 30? Yeah, 30, I think. Is 25 or
25,
30?
25, I think.
hmm
25.
It's
Is it
five
five?
groups of five.
Yeah, five
Five.
groups of five.
Yeah.
So, like, if out of those 25, 19 were Americans and you're watching, to Dante's point and to your point, Bill, it's like, oh, this is kind of like America's strongest man because 19 of the 25 are from America.
Yeah.
So it's a hard problem to fix. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
everyone has
It's,
got to get stronger, unfortunately.
yeah, it's like, even if I think honestly, though, as a competitor, it makes you a better competitor if you're in America and there's maybe quadruple the people trying to like qualify like at a regionals or something,
Mhm.
because you're going against better quality and stuff like that. So I think that's why, like, if you look at the Arnold, my class was 4 out of 4 Americans and we had
Mhm.
9 countries. So it's like, you know, I think that's why you see that type of result, because the competition level is so high. And I get it in some of these places, like in Asia, and they just don't have it yet. Like, and I hope the sport continues to grow and they do have it and have regionals and stuff like that down the line. We're just not there yet. But
Yeah,
like I said, I hope the sport grows. It's just a first world problem as me as a competitor.
for sure.
Um, you know what I mean?
But
But any,
I think it has grown in the short amount of time we've been a part of it, and
it's been
I
crazy.
mean, yeah,
It's been
Doesn't
crazy.
doesn't
Like
winning OSG as an open get you an invite to World's Strongest
it
Man?
does. Yeah.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
are there are I guess I should. I guess that's a really good point, Bill. Like I should have said. I misspoke. There are defined ways to get there. You win OSG, um, and I don't know, but there are other
Yeah, I think
paths.
if you like podium a Giants live show, but
Yeah,
you have to like podium OSG to get invited to a Giants live show
yeah.
officially.
So it's like, okay, so maybe there's like 15 qualifying spots, and then they reserve the right to invite 10 extra guys, and then it's like, how did those 10 guys get the invite? I
Right.
guess is more what I was trying to say. So that's a really good point. I'm glad you fact checked me on that.
Yeah.
Um, but the actual competition of World Strongest Man, we complained as spectators about the bad calls. Um, which I think we need to be critical of the sport if we want it to continue to get better. I really do. But let's talk about the actual competitors, because it was a really impressive. Thought it was a really impressive show overall. Like the competitors, I think honestly, minus Martins Lisi's, it was a really, really stacked class, like of World's Strongest Man this year. And every year you have the dark horse. Last year's Mitch Hooper made it out of the finals and no one knew who he was. And then he won this year. This year was Matthew Ragg, right? Um,
Mhm.
and some other guys really showed like, hey, I belong here regardless. Did anything stand out to you guys? I mean, Hooper's amazing performance. Novikov continues to be Mr. Consistent at that
Stolt.
level.
So no one's talking enough about Stoltman just dropping that shield.
Oh man, what a moment. So
Yeah, I saw that video. Hooper.
yeah, like that turned me into a Hooper guy for a little bit there. Like I'm American, not rooting for the Canadian. I was rooting for an American to win, but like, dude, that was an awesome moment for Hooper, and also like I wonder what Stoltman was thinking, you know? Like,
I mean, like if you turn around and see someone doing that, you're thinking they're going to drop it right away.
Yeah,
I
the way he
think
was
people are just
moving.
underestimating Hooper's like resiliency, just
Yeah,
to like
that
to keep
grit.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, that grit. But it's also like, I mean, it's hard to say because we've all done lifts and they might look easy on camera. And like Stoltman's looked like he had a lot more, which I do think he did, but maybe he was done. But it did look like he was just kind of like carrying it and being cocky and like threw it down. Maybe he was done, or he felt a twinge or something. I haven't heard anything from anyone, but I was so happy to see Hooper catch up to him and beat him on that event. Like that was sick, and that was a huge mental like that was a mistake by Stoltman for sure. Just a huge error. And I did he end up what were the final three? Was it Hooper, Novikov, and Stoltman, or
Yeah.
Hooper,
Hooper,
Stol-
Stoltman, Novikov.
Hooper, Stoltman, Novikov? So I guess like all the talk about it's funny how stuff in sports like it's like oh this is the next goat he's never gonna lose because it went from Stoltman like Novikov what was that 4 years ago now.
That was 19, wasn't it?
Yeah, had that huge win, right? And I remember everyone saying, like, is this guy going to be unstoppable now? Because he won in such a crazy fashion.
Mhm.
Um, and then Stoltman comes along and does win two in a row. And he's this obviously huge human being and crazy. And um, people are saying, oh, Stoltman's going to get a three-peat, never going to lose again as long as he wants. And now Hooper comes in and wins in a pretty, I mean, it was a good show, but wins in a pretty dominant fashion
Hmm.
with as much as you can, really. And now people are saying, "Oh, Hooper, how many times can he win World's Strongest Man?" So it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean Hooper's like the freshest into the sport. Feel like least amount of time to win
Hmm.
strongest man for sure.
Yeah, Clayton had a really good point. We talked to Andrew Clayton last week on this pod, and he said Hooper is so young and so green to the sport that it gives him such a huge advantage versus Kilias Koski, if I'm however the hell you say it, Mateus.
Mhm.
He had a really to he's at World's Strongest Man. Like, don't want to knock the guy, but he performed below what people thought he would, right? Like I think a lot of people thought he was gonna go to the finals, did not, had a pretty bad showing to what people thought. And Clayton said he's been in the sport for so long. It's like this is where it starts to build up, especially doing it at that level, you know. And these guys are, you know, just all the stuff that attributes to it. So like Hooper can come in and be so fresh and be that dog like on the shield carry and stuff like that. So I don't know what's your guys' thoughts on like Hooper? Where okay, let's say it's 2023, 2028 World Strongest Man and five World Strongest Mans. How many titles does Hooper have?
I think as long as he stays healthy, dude, he just seems like he takes strongman as like a whole different approach to like what other people do. Like he's more like scientific, it seems. I don't know, just the way he talks and the way he articulates, like how he eats and trains. It just seems like he like has a whole different approach on it than like other people's. Like, 'cause I watch all these guys on YouTube all the time, so it just seems like he just has a different strategy. It seems I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
describe it. You just kind of have to like watch, and that's I just kind of like see how he compares to other people.
Yeah, he's definitely a smart guy. His is master.
Masters in kinesiology, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'd say masters or doctorates in this stuff. So I think it's obviously a new wave in strength sports. It used to be, you know, just eat as much as possible. And you've seen like in guys like Brian Shaw, who he didn't win his fifth, obviously, but super impressive how he did, in my opinion. And if you've seen
I
him
think
in
he was injured, wasn't he? Didn't he have like cellulite or something?
he had that leg injury that he posted, but I don't know when that was or whatever.
Yeah.
But like to see Brian evolve, where at one point I think he was like 450, right? And
Hmm.
then he himself said in interviews, as the sport has changed, as like NFL, MLB, all these sports do, he got leaner and got faster and more athletic. So it's kind of cool to see the sport change a little bit and not be like you said like Hooper's more scientific and stuff like that. And it really felt like this World's Strongest Man this year was kind of a passing of a torch from the old to the new. I don't know if you guys felt like that too, with like Felix retiring, Shaw retiring, and just kind of like these new guys coming in. And it's like, hey, this new class is going to be, I think this new class that we've got, there'll always be like that one dark horse. but I think this new class is like that 15 guys is here to stay for the next 10 years. And I think that's a really cool moment in sports where we get to kind of witness that. Like that Michael Jordan to Kobe to now LeBron type um, you know,
Hmm.
handout. So yeah, I don't know. What any crazy thoughts, anything that stood out to you guys? I mean, Dante, you said the shield carry, but about worlds?
Do you see Mitch Hooper's post of that 342-pound dumbbell?
Oh my god,
He
dude.
cleaned it. The thing was
Dude.
like
So
insane.
Were they expecting?
someone had a post that they thought if that dumbbell got pressed, it would be more impressive than the 505 deadlift. I 100% agree.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
100% agree. Dude, when you have a human, look up Mitch Hooper stats, Dante, the height and weight and stuff. Mitch Hooper, that video, I want everyone to look at it if you're listening, because Bill, I had the same exact reaction.
Six
But
three 320.
6'3", 320. 99.999% of the time he walks into a room or a stadium or something, he's the biggest human there. This dumbbell looked so big and so over. It looked like a Husafel stone. Like he literally had to hug it like a Husafel and
yeah.
like shoulder it like a sandbag or a stone just to get it up there. Yeah, that was insane. But I'm glad you brought that up. That
It was
was,
super impressive that he even cleaned it.
dude. He did it after the qualifying round too, because they have like that day off to like go
It's for
play with
fun.
implements before the finals. Like, yeah, super impressive. And that was one of the first times in strongman I've been like legitimately like overwhelmed looking at something. I was like, holy shit, like this dude's huge. And this dumbbell is enormous. That's that's funny. That stood out to me too, but it wasn't even in the show. What was the what was the highest dumbbell they got up to? 320.
I think 320.
Yeah,
Did anyone
320.
hit the 320?
I think what did Hooper get his call on? Whatever that was the best, right?
I'm
Yeah, it
looking
was
at.
That was
309
what
or 320.
Yeah, that was what won. Whatever Hooper hit on that, I'm sure Dante will get it here in 1 sec. But yeah, dude, I had the same exact thought. Like, what what's the heaviest what was the heaviest circus dumbbell at the Arnold, Bill? Do you know?
Um, Lucas Hatton almost hit 300. He was real close.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, all those guys, like those top like five guys fell out at like 288 or whatever it was.
yeah,
It was
I'm
like
not
a
sure what the final weight was.
yeah,
Like,
there was like that
Hatton
jump
made
where
it look super easy, and then he got real close to 300, but missed.
yeah. Dude, that sucks so bad because I was leaving because it was all live streamed. And then we found out the circus wasn't live streamed. And like that was, but the other two events were really cool. Enjoyed watching you guys.
For
I
sure.
guess, I guess too, let's talk about you a little bit as a competitor because we kind of just jumped in like just like you're a normal. I love when people can just jump in and like be a chair on the podcast, but you are a pro strongman. You won your pro card at Erie Nationals 2022.
Yeah.
You got second place in the 105s, right?
Mhm.
Um, so congratulations on that, obviously, as
Yep.
being a
Thank you.
pro. So how much do you get recognized now as a pro strongman?
Oh man, pretty minimally.
you
But
gotta you gotta
I
live in
think
like a you gotta
that
live
was
in a
where I
game.
met you. I'm pretty sure.
But it
Um,
is honestly, dude, that is like super. It's such a like cool honor to be able to say that. And like, I know one thing I really respect about you, and you become a buddy in the sport, is that you you've been outspoken about PEDs,
mhm.
about and like not in a. I like it because you don't do it in like a condescending and like dickish way, where it's like, oh, I'm natty, all this stuff, but like I just think it's cool that you've taken the path to stay natural because personally I have as well. And if people want to do whatever people want to do, that's who am I to judge? But just internally, like I've had that debate with myself and to stay natural and like for you to be kind of like a spokesman for it, but still win your pro card in a like crazy competitive class that the 105s is. I think that's so admirable. And like what place did you get at the Arnold?
Second as well.
Second as
Mhm.
well.
So
So
if I didn't win my pro card at nationals, I would have won it at the Arnold, which is
Hmm.
cool.
yeah, which is really cool. So what was it like to so I didn't know you until nationals, like
Mhm.
really. Maybe we had messaged or something. But what was the biggest show you did prior to nationals this year?
Um, Last year,
Yeah, last year. What was the what? So like, I guess just like give a little bit of background of like you in strongman. Like, when did you start, and like
sure.
how did all the like how did it lead to getting to Erie to win your pro card? I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So in like 2020 when all the gyms shut down, I had like watched strongman before, but I wasn't, doing any strongman lifts or anything like that. I was just kind of going to the gym for fun. Gym shut down. My roommate and I started buying equipment off Facebook Marketplace, and we needed horse stall mats so that we wouldn't like fuck up our garage because we were renting. And I went and bought one, and I pulled up to this dude's house, and there's like five guys out running a yoke in the street. And this is like, you know, March or April of 2020 when like they said you shouldn't leave your house. So it was like, oh shit, people hang out like,
Yeah, dude.
and I recognized it, and I was like, oh, you guys do strongman? And this dude's like, yeah, you want to come see my garage? He's got like decked out garage full of strongman shit. And I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. He's like, yeah, do you want to come work out sometime? And so at the time, I was serving and bartending, and the restaurant I was working for was shut down. So I was just at home, like had
Damn.
nothing to do.
That is
So
a that is a cool story. Like I did not know that at all.
yeah,
I didn't know you were
like
still like, not to discredit what you've accomplished because it actually makes it more impressive, but like how green you are to the sport.
yeah,
Like that is crazy, dude. That is incredible. Good for you. So
yeah,
you mentioned briefly, we're talking about the MLB. You played sports growing up.
yeah. I
Nice.
played baseball like up until high school. And then I played football from like sixth grade through the end of high school. Threw a little bit, like shot put and disc.
Love a good
Oh,
thrower.
nice.
That was just our football coach like made us. It was either if you don't do track and field, then you have to like come do conditioning 4 times a week. Which I'm like, I don't want to fucking run. I'd much rather just lift weights and throw a shot put. So
What
I
was your
did.
furthest shot put throw?
I have no clue. I only did it like freshman and sophomore year.
Oh,
So you met those dudes at the garage
Yeah.
during
So
COVID.
and my job was shut down. So he's like, you want to come work out sometime? So like week later, I'm going there 5 days a week to work out. Um, my buddy's name was Dan, and he actually was coached by Andrew Clayton.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if he still is. He's been like on and off with him for a long time, but we were like doing his programming, and my lease was ending, and this dude had a house, and he's like, "Oh, I have a room if you want to rent it." So I moved in, um, and then yeah, just like lived a strongman lifestyle for a little bit.
That's awesome, dude.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're
I was like, "Hey, let's find a contest we could do," and we found one. It was like August of 2020. I did it as a heavyweight. There was no novice classes, so I just did a heavyweight open, and I beat one guy. There was three of us. I took second. So,
wow.
but it definitely like it got me hooked on the strongman. There was a semi truck pull, and it was in a real shitty parking lot.
Hell yeah.
Divots everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So the semi truck, the starting point, it was parked in a super deep ditch. Like,
I've seen that at a show too
yeah.
before.
So, I'm the heavyweight guy. We go last. I watch every single person go before me and not budge this semi
Oh
with a
man.
lead rope. And so I'm like, well, shit, like my first contest, I'm like, yeah, no way I'm going to move this thing, but I guess I'll try. And
hmm
I finished it.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, yeah. And like, there's a video of, like everyone is cheering because it seemed like something that just couldn't be done. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, so that feeling definitely got me hooked
Damn, dude,
on
that's
strongman.
awesome.
Yeah,
What
and then
um what show
then
did you do to qualify for nationals?
I did the Battle Axe Showdown.
Oh, okay. In Texas?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy. How did
yeah, my
you?
girlfriend and I traveled there for it.
Oh, nice.
So I had done it the year before too. I won it in 2021. I think it was like that was my second show as a middleweight. Um, like my fifth show overall. And then that qualified me for nationals in 2021, where I went and like just placed like middle of the pack on everything.
Did you
Um,
do it as a middleweight?
yeah,
So you went to Roanoke as well?
yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
yeah. I didn't do anything notable, so
Yeah, me neither.
yeah. But I was there with Chris actually,
Okay.
and
Okay. So I probably did meet you in 2021, like
yeah,
indirectly, like when we were there. You
yeah,
guys were with that one real big dude that trains up your guys' way that got his
Nick,
pro card that year, right?
yeah, Nick Davis.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be back soon, but he's got a lot of other like good stuff going on. He just
Oh,
like
that's
got promoted to head coach of his high school's football team
oh nice, dude.
after like only a year of working there. So
That's awesome. Well, that's really
yeah,
cool.
so he's staying busy. But
Cool. So
yeah, and then did the Battle Axe Showdown in January of 2022. I took second there, so it qualified me for nationals because there was like 20 of us in the class.
yeah,
Um,
damn, dude.
yeah,
That is impressive. I did not know that about you. We've kind of buried the lead with introducing you. We're all the way at the end of like kind of towards the end of the episode, but
I'll have to edit this in the
yeah,
beginning.
this is that is like a super that's super cool because like I was like it's just a cool unique story of how you got into it. Yeah,
yeah, for
I
sure.
like that a lot. So what's on the docket?
America's Strongest Man in July. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's in a suburb of Chicago, which is where I'm from. So
Oh, nice. Everything's coming up Bill Kendall. That's
yeah,
awesome.
not too far from where I grew up. So hopefully be able to like have some friends and family go. And I like the events.
I
Yeah,
saw you posting them. I thought those events were pretty cool. I
Hmm.
wonder, so I guess this is just the format moving forward is like 105s and 82s together.
Hmm.
And then
I guess so. I like it honestly.
I like it a lot.
I'm excited to have like a smaller comp feeling after nationals and the Arnold being my last two.
Yeah, I wonder how much participation there'll be from the 105s. So like if you're a pro, you are always qualified for ASM, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go every year. So there's that whole pool of pros.
Yeah.
Anyone could really show up. And then how is there a way for other guys to get there? I can't remember.
So this year they just gave out
Invites.
invites. They didn't have like a qualifying thing. But I think all the guys I know that got invites are real legit and
Yeah,
definitely
that's cool.
them.
That's cool.
Wasn't like the online qualifier last year like real just like quick and like no one really knew about
Yeah,
it.
it was.
Yeah, I don't think a ton of people did it. I mean, I know Furman ran it last year.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how they handled that,
because
but
I remember Nick Heim being like, he like didn't even like know about her. He wanted to do it, and like he like kind of just like something like that couldn't get in or
Yeah, like he just couldn't. We just I think he found out too late for like the qualifier or something.
yeah, but it's whatever.
He like
Yeah,
posted like once on a story like and he like reposted like once a week like at like a 1 p.m. on like a Wednesday.
yeah.
yeah,
That's how strongman goes, I
yeah.
guess.
James had
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
told me
unfortunately.
James had
sucks.
told me select invites will go out to athletes who have a legit chance of making podium. Is
Which I
like
think's cool.
how he worded it, right?
Like it's yeah. And James Deffenbaugh's pretty tied into 105s, and I imagine he has a good hand with it being a strongman corp show. I imagine he has a good part of the process of it and everything like that.
Right. Actually, the guy who beat me at Battle Axe, Alex Sukup, he made
Okay.
the finals at OSG. He got invited.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he asked how to get invited, and I told him to message James, and I messaged James too, and was like, "Hey, this guy definitely deserves a spot if you're looking to give him out." So
Nice.
see that he got it.
Nice. So when's ASM? August,
July 22nd.
July.
Yeah.
So not to look too far ahead, but you do ASM. Are you going to be like an OSG? Are you going to look at Pro Strongman League? They obviously were previously Clash, and they're built on your guys' class to 105. So like,
Mhm.
you know, what's kind of your just taking it day by day or just
Yeah, I think gonna try and get to America's Strongest Man and go from there.
yeah,
See how I do there. You know,
yeah. Yeah, no,
I'm
I
not
get it.
sure.
I don't like focusing on multiple comps at a time either. So
Right. Especially one
I,
of them is like kind of a big deal.
yeah, dude, that's really cool. Well, we're rooting for you to win America's Strongest Man, dude. That
Yeah,
would be freaking awesome.
that would be nuts.
Dante, you gotta earn an invite one of these years.
I'm gonna
So
get my pro card first. Baby steps.
yeah, that's true.
Feeling confident this year. If I can just get my invite to Nats, I feel like I can do well with these events.
All right.
Feel it. I feel it in my heart, Bill. As a
Yeah.
fellow 105, I feel it.
You like the Nats events?
Not really, but I feel like I can do well with them.
All right.
Yeah, I love them this year, but I'm not doing nationals again. But
You
He
I
you
said
thought
do
that
he's so he
nationals?
says.
I'm not doing nationals again unless I don't get my Arnold invited at like a regionals or something because I'm dead set on doing the Arnold. I think like if you win nationals, like our class doesn't have a pro card system, but I think like once you've been in like the top three, like when you would have won a pro card, I think it's like time to kind of graduate to the next level. Honestly, not to
Yeah.
sound like an elitist, but I just think that's kind of like I just think there's like bigger shows and world
It's like,
class.
yeah, kind of like going from novice to open. It's like,
Yeah, it's like it's kind of the next step. And
yeah.
I get it. People might want to just do nationals, but I'm over like that kind of feeling. So I'm gonna do one more with USS, and then because I never got to do USS nationals, and there's just a shit ton of people, so I figured I want to try it once.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, we
Um,
appreciate you jumping in so last minute, man. Anything you
Speaking
got to
of
shout
jumping in,
out?
real quick, did you see Ben Donnan took third at
Yeah,
the
he
European 105
competed
championship?
at 105, and he tore his abductor too.
Yeah, he hit a
I,
250 Zercher squat,
Yeah, 250.
550 pounds.
Yeah, 250 kilo.
does he look like I didn't see it. Does he look like he's like put on some size as a
Uh,
105 or like
If I translated the one post correctly, he weighed in at 103. I don't know if I translated it right, but in my mind, it made
Dude,
sense that
that's
post. But
amazing.
I mean he just
um,
competed at 90s at the Arnold.
yeah.
And he was
That's
trying to compete at 80.
Well, he
So,
also just did. He also just did like a world record at 80.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's what that post meant. But
hmm.
I was like, I actually was looking at it. I don't know. Like, do you know anyone that competed at that show?
um, I don't know anyone personally. There's one guy I follow, Yerit something. His last
Yeah.
name starts with a K. He won it.
Yeah, I'm curious what the level of competition was like for that 105 style, but that's still super impressive, dude. I was like, I saw his log and I'm like, oh shit, only 275. But then I saw he had a torn abductor, so he couldn't split
Yeah.
it. So
Also, that log that they use, I'm pretty sure is like 13 inches.
yeah, did you see how compact it was?
Yeah. It's super
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. So this post says uh in French, normally an 80 kilo. And then it says Ben Donen, tagged him, A Tente, Une, competition end. And then it said 103 kg. So I thought that meant that he weighed in at 103, but I have no idea if that's what that
Is
means.
it a post or a story?
It's a story.
I was gonna say on a post usually you can translate.
Yeah, this is a story, so I couldn't translate.
Hmm.
But dude, just to be able to show up, also it was outside and they're like farmers and everything was in the rain. So like crazy to like be doing that. What's 150 kilos?
330.
330?
But we had at the
330
Arnold.
330 farmers and they were pretty damn fast and strong for
Yeah,
him.
you see how low the handles were?
Solo, dude. It looks like less than a 13-inch pick.
Yeah, it looks like almost a standard deadlift height.
Yeah, I'm watching all these right now. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, that log is definitely a 13-inch log.
Dude, that's crazy. I'm watching it now too.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, that was that's a good point too, Bill. Um,
So, what's next for you, Josh? You got a regional coming up?
Hope so. I was kind of bummed out because I thought actually Detroit, Brian Benet's hosting a regional, and I thought I was gonna have to do that, but I have a lot of stuff going on that day, but I was gonna make it happen and try to go win that regionals. But another one just got posted in Kentucky.
Okay.
It's usually Beast of the Bluegrass, so it's end of July. So I'm gonna hopefully go there. Hopefully, if I can win the class, so I can get my Arnold invite, and then focus on I guess OSG and the Arnold. I really want to. My main focus this whole next calendar year is the Arnold because I was really disappointed how I did at the Arnold this year. So I want to go back, and I think it's just so cool competing at the Arnold because I grew up like in strength training going there and just like watching powerlifting and stuff. So I thought it
Mhm.
was really fun to compete there this year. So I'd like to
Yeah,
go back.
it's definitely not like any other show I've done.
Yeah. Better
And
things are better and things are worse.
yeah, but
But
I'll say making the finals is a super cool experience. You got to make that happen.
Oh, dude, it
yeah,
looked like it was cool. It
that's
looked
my
like
biggest goal, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was like legitimately for like the first time in a long time, like mad watching the Ukrainian deadlift when I was driving
Yeah.
because I love deadlifting. And it was such a cool apparatus. And you guys got to like walk up with your flag and your day two shirts and just like shove it in my face. Oh, man. Super. But I had like guys I was rooting for there, like you. I was rooting for Andrew Hanus in the 90s and like stuff like that. So, like, and cheering on the 80-kilo guys out of jealousy, but like also cheering them on because I like them. So it was like really, really cool to watch you. And I like, it stinks like for you. That's the only part about that I'm not jealous about a pro card is like I can keep doing the Arnold and
Yeah.
you can't.
Well, I can do it
Um,
as a heavyweight.
yeah,
it's
that's
true.
true. That's true. That's
I
been
get an
a
automatic invite as a heavyweight,
oh
actually.
really?
Yeah, as a 105 pro.
That's
Oh
that's
wow.
what Camby did.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's really cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That'd be, I mean, hell, dude, that's awesome. So I
Yeah.
guess you can do it.
Maybe in the
Yeah, dude.
future.
And there's 10 spots for the final, so you can go and make the finals again.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm sure
go.
it's pretty easy to do, right?
I will say, last thing I'll say before we close it out, those 10 guys for the finals for super heavyweight were insane. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
they had a crazy group. But man, we appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on again here in the future. But I know it was so last minute, so I really extra appreciate it, dude. And
Yeah.
everyone, make sure you guys are following Bill. Mainly Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of where
At B
you're?
Kendall underscore strongman.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put the little thingy on your name
Yeah.
tag.
Well, it's on there right now if people are watching on YouTube. But Bill B Kendall underscore strongman, pro strongman. Make sure you guys are following them. And I guess we'll see you guys all next week for episode 125.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
Peace.
guys.